Don't look under the internet.
You know, I just ate, for Valentine's Day, we went to Naperville, and I ate octopus, and I had the tentacles.
For the first time?
No,
in
not
the
the
soy
first
sauce?
time. No, it wasn't the first time. Not in soy sauce. It was a Mexican place, and they had tentacle with this like pesto and this like lime.
Are you getting enthralled by Kate?
But it was very good. I will say it was a little rubbery for my taste. I think it needs to be prepared differently, or I need to eat it faster because I think I got a little cold.
That's weird because I actually don't like. Do you like seafood?
Yes.
I don't care for seafood, but I do love me octopus and squid for some reason.
It was very good.
Especially tentacles.
Yeah,
especially tentacles.
It was good. I think I just let it because.
God, ew. Sorry. There aren't a lot of things in this world that I just won't eat. There are very few things in this world that I just won't eat. But like fried fucking like squid,
like
circles,
calamari.
Like oh god, no, it's terrible. The rubbery texture.
Psst. Hey Matt, we're doing a thing where we introduce the topic, and it has to do with tentacles.
Oh, lovely.
You did it though. You brought us into it. So,
that's something that I should have fucking mentioned with like the seafood and shit from the last episode you guys did. I'm deathly afraid of sea life. I hate it.
So
it's terrible.
This is going to be so much fun then.
Absolutely.
This is going to be so good.
Real quick, Matt, with what Jason just said, we're trying to segue into the topic. What would you call that?
What would I call?
What would you call a segue into a topic?
Well, I think bird scooter is much more entertaining.
Hey-o.
Hell yeah! God,
one.
okay, I haven't programmed an air horn in the sound pad yet, but that'll work, I guess.
We don't need to keep using the sound. We abuse the sound.
Well, now it sounds like shit, Mike.
Mike,
good job.
Use it.
If you click the button, you don't get to unclick the button.
You wanted this. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, no, we did ask for this.
Yeah,
we did.
We did.
Rule of thumb: if you click the button, you don't get to unclick the button. If you're not the
Cthulhu
clicker.
Corner.
Yes, Cthulhu Corner is here once again, everybody.
Octopus. Also, Matt's here again because we're going on a 4-episode binge.
I have a very good question before we start this. If I happen to know the location in Chicago of some after-hours octopus bars, would that fall under the Cthulhu Corner like criteria? Also, do you guys know what that means?
I think you're stepping into mukbang territory.
Oh no! I mean, unless you think that eating is with both sets of lips, then maybe.
Ooh. I've decided that the only way that I can get over my fear of seafood is to have Jason and or Doug and or Mike mukbang of you just shoving random sea creatures into your mouth. So.
$100 Patreon tier.
Be very careful of what you wish for. Be very careful.
So, since we're talking about seafood and sea life, and we also have a Matt here, for those of you just chiming in, Matt, again, has been with us for a couple episodes because we're going on a 4-episode binger. He created the Ripsaw / Rebar ARG, and check out those episodes. They're really fun.
He gave our lives meaning for like 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, and now we're talking. Jason and Doug are going to talk to me and Matt about sea life.
We are going to blast your earballs full of tentacly fun knowledge.
Tenticular
knowledge.
So with proper Cthulhu Corner, I know nothing. Matt apparently knows nothing.
We made sure of that.
Absolutely not.
And you two know everything. So
yes.
What are we talking about?
No, it's not a what, it's a who.
And even then,
but it might also be a what or a where.
And a when.
You're not helping.
Honestly.
It could be a lot of things.
Maybe a why or a how.
In the classic Hube fashion, you never really know what we're talking about here.
Never really fucking
He keeps
know.
everything mysterious.
It's unspeakable.
It is unspeakable.
We can't talk about it.
Indescribable. So we're just going to... This episode is actually just 45 minutes of silence because he is so indescribable and unspeakable that we're going to just go through it in, classic Hubert Pubert Lovecraft fashion.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I do have a visual representation of the thing we're talking about today.
What it sounds like is going to happen is they're going to give me the name of whatever we're talking about, followed by 45 minutes of silence with the occasional just, through into the mix.
Yes, I'm deleting both mine and Doug's audio tracks. It's just you and Matt
Just
being
dead
confused for 45 minutes.
It's just
Art performance.
It's just dead silence. You just hear.
Performance art.
It's just dead silence, and out of nowhere, like 28 minutes, and you just hear, really?
You might just hear a random Hube?
HP?
Oh.
Yeah. So we are doing another Cthulhu Corner because it's fucking high time since we've done the last one. The last one we did was Azathoth. And if you could remember, Mike, are you an alcoholic?
No, I'm giving this to. Do you want that?
Oh, you're offering it.
Oh,
As someone
damn.
who regularly listens into the show, I do have concerns, but maybe now is not the time to express them.
The concerns are valid.
No, they are.
I'm giving up my alcohol though because I have a drive and I don't want
Yes.
to finish that drink.
And I don't, and Doug's staying here late, so we are reaping the benefits.
Yeah, that was a perfect, maybe hole shot.
Yeah. We'll take that in a sec. Let's explain what...
Yes.
Let's try to explain.
What is our topic, Jason? What are we doing today?
Have you seen the sign?
I see the.
Have you seen the sign?
I try to avoid the sign.
I mean, most would if they knew what the sign was, but if you know what the sign is, that means you have seen the sign, which means you can't escape it. We
That's
are
very
talking about a very integral part of the entire Lovecraft / Cthulhu mythos today.
Quit tugging my ding and just tell me.
His name is fucking Hastur.
There it is.
We are talking about
Dennis-
Hastur.
Denny
the king
Hastur?
in yellow.
We're talking about Denny Hastert.
Dennis Quaid, actually.
Oh, we don't
but-
want to talk about Dennis Hastert. He's not a good boy. I helped him, and he came to my AT&T store, and I sold him a phone.
Who?
Dennis Hastert.
Yeah, that was my question. What?
He
What are
was
you talking about?
he was
Matt, do you see? Do you understand now?
he was
I don't know.
Do I understand what?
during,
Do I understand what I love
my
about
God.
this podcast so much, which is just like 5
You
minutes
guys
of
don't know-
build up and then just like 10 minutes of derailing.
That's. Oh
guys
my
legit
god! You
don't know
just
who
broke
Denner-
down
you guys
the last
legit-
year of our lives.
You don't know who
into
Dennis
one
Hastert
sentence.
is?
No, I do know who that is.
He was Speaker of the House during the George Bush administration, and he
Right.
got in trouble for pedophilia and went to jail for a long, long time.
I wrote him a
And
letter.
Mike's
when I was
admitting
young.
to helping him.
I sold him a phone, and I had to put an iPhone. I might be giving away too much information, or I might get in trouble. But I had to do an iCloud backup on his phone, and he still had George Bush and Clinton's phone numbers on his phone.
Did you
Why
save
did you
that?
not write that shit down?
He's like, oh, these are old contacts, but I guess they'll do. And it's just Clinton, Bush. And I'm just like,
Why
what
did
the
you not commit
fuck?
felonies for us? Are
I
you
should
kidding
have
me?
done that. I should have done that.
Yeah,
Okay.
we should have.
All right, guys.
We are way
We need
off
to get
track.
back on track for sure. We are talking about Hastur, the King in Yellow.
Mm-hmm.
What else would you call him?
Oh, there's Hastur the Unspeakable is a fantastic one. He's got so many fucking names. Lord Hastur, the Unspeakable one. A few names that I won't even try to fucking pronounce.
I believe that one that
Zatre,
you're trying to
Hastre,
Hastre.
Astre, Astre.
I think it's
I like the next one though a little
Ostre.
more.
I think
Yes.
it's Ostre.
It's if you want to go the Harry Potter route.
Yeah.
The him who is not to be named.
Yeah.
Kaiwan.
Asatur.
Is that how you pronounce that?
Asatur.
It's Aster.
Aster.
It is Aster, but it looks like Aster. The Feaster from Afar, the Lord of Interstellar Spaces, the Peacock King, Zukalikoth, Johannes Van Der Berg,
Yep.
Hastur the Unspeakable, Fenric, Dweller in the Depths, Thing in the Lake, Him that Slept Beneath, and the Great Prince of the Old Ones.
Does he really need that many titles?
Uh-huh.
You should see the list of names for Nyarlathotep.
Yeah,
Obnoxious.
this is tame compared to a lot of the like outer gods like nicknames.
Even Azathoth, we did not go over all of his names.
No, we did not.
There are 10 times as many.
And the reason you get all these names is because these are all the different like stories that he can be associated with.
Yep.
So if you wanted to know like who and what in kind of a nutshell Hastur is, so Hastur the Unspeakable is a Cthulhu mythos deity, as we've already explained to you. But although the being is most famously associated with H.P. Lovecraft, it's only mentioned in one of his stories.
Yep.
And that's The Whisper in the Darkness.
Which, if you have not read that, if you like Dread, read that. It's a very fucking good story. If you want to feel like you don't matter and something is coming to get you, that's the story to read.
I don't need more of that.
Well, you're in the wrong podcast, my guy.
And it's actually really funny because originally Hastur is the creation of a guy named Ambrose Bierce, whose short story, I don't even know how to say this one, but it's
Haisha is, I think, how you say it.
Haisha the Shepherd. Basically, he describes Hastur as a god of shepherds, and it's also a name of a city in a Robert W. Chambers short story called The Yellow Sign, and the Repairer of Reputations, which appeared in his short story collection, The King in Yellow. So you were literally hitting all of the fucking... You're seeing like four nicknames out of this fucking list that we just like went over.
Yeah.
Just within two people's three people's stories.
You could say interpretations. I would prefer to call them recollections.
Historical accounts.
Yep.
But
absolutely true words that exist in Earth.
Keep in mind, as we've said about a lot of this, H.P. Lovecraft opened up his works to be to the public.
Open-ended.
It's public domain.
Yeah, public domain.
Yeah.
But basically, so H.P. Lovecraft had this like weird group of people who also kind of wrote the same sort of shit he was writing at the same time as him that weren't like technically interconnected, but they kind of were. So this guy, August Derleth, he's the publisher and apostle of Lovecraft.
That I know I just blew right by that, but yes, apostle.
Yeah.
Of Lovecraft.
Yes.
So these
Okay,
are
I
people
know.
like he knew about and like accepted, but
Think about fucking I don't know, Last Supper, like
He
that kind
basically-
of dedication, but to Lovecraft.
Yeah, he pretty much worshipped this guy.
Yes.
It's a very weird relationship. We could probably do a whole episode on that guy.
Oh, absolutely. And if you read his fucking his works, you can absolutely like you get the Bible vibes. Like the fucking like this is my Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
And his creations are my creations and we love every fucking second of it.
Which is funny because like I sprung like $60 on a Bible of Cthulhu.
I still haven't done that.
Yeah, it's
I'm a bad
great.
cultist.
But yeah, so this August guy, he published he published a bunch of things, but basically he developed Hastur into one of the great old ones. Like
Yep.
he's the guy that turned him into a great old one. Basically called him the spawn of Yog-Sothoth, the half brother of Cthulhu, and possibly I'm gonna butcher this one, the Magnum Inomenandium.
No, that was actually spot on.
Or the AWD, which I don't understand that whole thing.
All-wheel
But-
drive.
Yeah, definitely all-wheel
It's the
drive.
all-wheel drive version.
He's the Ford F-150 of Cthulhu Mythos gods.
He's the Subaru. So in this incarnation,
Cybertruck.
I have to be quiet. Fuck.
fucking dolphin in the room here. So we got Hastur has several avatars. The Feaster from Afar, which is another story. A black, shriveled, flying monstrosity with tentacles tipped with razor-sharp talons that can pierce a victim's skull and siphon out the brain. This is kind of that typical like vision of Hastur that you'll see, like yellow cloak, tentacles at the bottom.
I feel like that's like typical Lovecraft in general, just a black mass of tentacles and sharp.
An amorphous representation
Yeah.
of a dark, writhing chaos. Like, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, one thing I will go over later is about some of the different depictions of Hastur, because I don't want to go there yet.
So I should.
I'm excited.
The D&D. Fuck. Okay.
Well,
wait.
you played Cthulhu Wars, right?
Yeah. No, I have not played Cthulhu
Oh yeah,
Wars
no,
yet.
you haven't.
I have not. I have I have fucking
Okay,
kept,
all right.
Call of Cthulhu.
All right, well, yeah, we will get there. That'll be later. Okay.
Damn.
Anyways, so
We're getting too excited.
yeah, no, I love the shit. So yeah, so we have that, and then we have the Carcosa Foundation.
Yep.
Is actually a Stockholm-based coterie that worships Hastur.
It's a cult.
It's a cult.
It's the cult of the yellow sign, more or less.
So real world things tying into all of this as well. And then Hastur is amorphous, but he is said to appear as a vast, vaguely octopoid being, similar to his half-niece, Cecilia. And
That's
then,
weird, though, because like every depiction I've seen of Hastur is more humanoid than like cephalopod.
I'll bring this up. I will bring this up for sure. And then the last thing we get with Hastur is that in Lynn Carter's Carcosa story about Holly, Hastur is named as the Dweller in the Depths, the spawn of Azathoth, the half-brother of Cthulhu, which we've already heard once, the mate of Shub-Niggurath. So basically, he was the father of Nug and Yeb.
Yep.
Which is kind of crazy, a little bit crazy. Once we go over those, you'll understand why that's crazy. But yeah, and he is said to have led the rebellion against the elder gods and received sacrifices thrown into his lake. So like
He's the black sheep
of
the fucking outer gods,
like
is what he is.
It's so crazy because like
Doug and I we are legitimately rubbing our shafts together right now about how fucking exciting this is.
You know, they say if you do that, you'll cause a fire, and only you can prevent forest fires. So
I really, really love how in-depth and how everything connects so well in this fucking universe.
Yeah, so we kind of have like, was it like 3 or 4 other people's like stories kind of.
So right now we have 4 people's stories basically creating the mythos of Hastur, which is another great thing that we're going to bring up here quickly, actually.
Oh, yeah.
They've all kind of like come to a conclusion, like he's the half-brother of Cthulhu. They've all decided, like, yeah, that's what he is, which is kind of fun.
Oh, abso-fucking-lutely. And I'm so happy that Lovecraft's works are deemed like public domain, which it led so many people to expound upon these weirdly horrifying things.
It's basically just old school SCP.
Yeah,
I'm so happy you said that.
Yep,
so
100%.
fucking happy, because yes, this is SCP version 1, and
except there's no Russian guy trying to take over the.
Yes, there's no
because
Russian
you can't.
dickhead.
And kind of like spoilers, but I just thought this was like such a cool fact. So we call this the Cthulhu mythos, but it was originally going to be the Hastur mythos.
Yep.
Before it was Cthulhu.
Hastur was supposed to be like the identifying being.
It doesn't have the same rank to it as Cthulhu.
It doesn't, but H.P. Lovecraft said the same shit. And he's like, nope.
Cthulhu sounds
Fuck you.
cooler.
Yeah, actually, it 100% does.
And
like
I'm
realistically,
I'm convinced that that's really the only reason that Cthulhu has gotten so popular. Because like I love Cthulhu to death, but oh my, there's so many more beings in this mythos.
I think it's also because
way better
back then. You know, this is what, like the 20s.
Oh no,
Roughly.
1880s.
Yeah,
Shit.
no,
Well,
he was
back
1898 to like 1905 ish.
Yeah,
so I think he died in
What's-
36.
What's scarier than a giant, you know, winged octopus thing from the depths of the ocean rather than a man that wears
Nothing.
yellow? You know,
Absolutely
comparatively.
Sea creatures.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Sea creatures. They're horrifying.
Oh, they
Yeah.
fucking. Have you seen a fucking anglerfish?
Yeah, they're awful.
Matt, do you have thalassalophobia?
Yes, I am subscribed to that subreddit.
Okay, I figured. I had a feeling.
Thalassophobia, and there's another one. Oh, submechanophobia.
Yes. Oh
Do
my
you
god.
really?
I actually watch
Yeah.
a lot of Disney YouTube things about that, and like some of those mechanical things in the water are fucking terrifying.
Hey Matt, have you ever heard of a game called Sunless Sea?
No.
I would pay money to watch you play that game. It's by most people's expectations, it's pretty tame with some very creepy factors to it, very Lovecraftian tactics to it. But with somebody who's afraid of shit like that, yes, I would absolutely pay money to watch somebody stream that game and be terrified of it. So if you have a chance to check it out and you want to send us a funny video, there you go.
Okay. Yeah. Well, maybe I'll horrify myself for your amusement later. But
Hey,
I'm sorry, I've derailed this whole thing.
No, you're fine. I might finance that because I want to see it. That's kind of the names we know Hastur by. There's a bit of inspiration, and like all things Lovecraftian, origins are shrouded in fucking mystery. There's no concrete answer to any one being that you could find in this mythos. But this is kind of like a couple of the places that you can find some very, I don't know, ancient information about him. So in Bierce's Hastur the Shepherd, which appeared in the collection Can Such Things Be?
Of course.
Hastur is more benevolent than he would later appear in August Derlis' The Mythos Stories, which is very, very, very strange to me because almost every depiction I've seen of him, at least recently, has been similar to Nyarlathotep. I hate to keep going back to Nyarlathotep, but like Hastur and Nyarlathotep could be half brothers.
Oh, absolutely.
Like very easily.
I mean, when you think of Hastur, you think of like desecration and like
rot, decay, the end of things. I mean, you just look at a picture of him. Like he's wearing this tattered, decrepit yellow robe with melting tentacly features, like kind of poking out of where his face should be, but the rest is just blackness, and it's all about death and decay. Is what Hastur's all about.
It's like if a bunch of toddlers stacked on top of each other and they're wearing a trench coat, but in this case, it's just like a bunch of tentacles like stacked on top of each other.
If the toddlers were made of tentacles,
trying to get into a PG-13 movie and they just can't do it.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then you find out they're actually raccoons, and it's a whole thing. And then the raccoons are made of tentacly nightmares.
Bees? And they're just like technically slapping their fake ID on the counter.
They're like, sir, why is your ID covered in slime?
So I'm gathering that we are creating a new Hastur origin story, or at least teenage years mythos for him.
Yeah.
But no, so like he was originally thought of as like this benevolent being that brought good fortune, good omens, what have you. There's another story that we've already mentioned, named inhabitant of Caracosa, referred to the place of Caracosa as a person Holly, which names which later, what the fuck does that say?
It says names which later authors were to associate with Hastur. So Carcosa and Holly.
Right.
Yes, you got it.
Yes, that just fucked me up a lot.
No, it's written very weird.
It is. So basically what this is saying is these...
So remember when I was basically saying, is Hastur a person? Is Hastur a place? What is Hastur? A lot of the stories that we get...
They interpret it differently.
There's no description of him up at this point. Like, we don't know what he looks like because of, in classic HP fashion, it's undescribable, unspeakable.
Yes.
So there was a lot of debate for a long time on what Hastur was. And that's the words in which Jason was trying to say.
I apologize. I have had a lot of shots, and reading is hard.
No, that is written very well, but also I hate it.
That's written by an intelligent person, and I'm not that right now. So we are also going to talk about a very old story, actually one that was before Lovecraft's time. In 1895, it's a few years before Lovecraft actually got into writing. You see a story called The King in Yellow. And it's actually a collection, and it's a bunch of horror stories, and Hastur is the name of a potentially supernatural character in not gonna try that.
Yeah, no, that's a weird name.
It's a French word. It's a French name.
Demoiselle?
Demasai?
Demasai?
Who?
That sounds more Japanese.
I don't know. Yeah, I really do.
I'm not gonna offend a whole culture by trying to pronounce this. So let's just move on. There's a story all about the King in Yellow in 1895. It's mentioned without explanation in another story called The Yellow Sign. And the latter of those two also mentions Caracosa, Hawley, and a bunch of other authors that you might recognize in the Cthulhu mythos.
So this actually ties into what I was just saying about we don't know if he's a person, place, or thing, because basically we get the name of him, and then we get the name of him as a place, and then he's mentioned without explanation in another story.
Just Yellow Sign.
And from there, it's just like, what is Hastur? Like, what, like, is he thing, them,
a place, a time,
place,
like what?
We don't know.
No fucking idea.
So
once
Lovecraft didn't come up with Hastur, he just kind of expounded on it.
Honestly, that's gonna be a theme that you see here.
So he stole work from other people.
No, he worked with them.
Correct. Yes, he worked with a bunch of people, and he basically took very, very minor parts of stories, names, places, etc., with no backstory attached to them, and said, you know what? This would look good if it were made of tentacles and came from 40 billion light years away.
And actually, this next part is gonna.
We're giving Matt existential dread.
He's over here just like sitting on the toilet, like being like, bleh.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just like my worst nightmare.
This is. Why are you on with us right now? This is.
I'm starting to regret all my decisions, like minute by minute.
Well, let's keep this train going. So he just explained kind of like where the idea of Hastur came from,
which again was not originally Lovecraft's
idea. It was
idea.
A story called The Yellow Sign.
The King in Yellow.
King in Yellow.
It was an excerpt of horror stories.
Yeah, and then a mention of the name Hastur at one point in one of said stories.
Gotcha.
Very loose.
So Lovecraft's vision actually went a little differently than this whole thing started off. So H.P. Lovecraft read Chambers' book in 1927, and he was so enchanted by it that he basically added it to his own creations. However, it's pretty unclear from this quote if Lovecraft's Hastur is a person, a place, or an object, which you're going to keep seeing this theme.
The Yellow Sign.
Yep. Such as the Yellow Sign or a deity. The ambiguity is recurrent in Lovecraft's description of the mythic entities. So here we go. This is a quote from Lovecraft.
Yes.
After stumbling queerly upon the hellish and forbidden book of horrors, the two learn, among other hideous things which no sane mortal should know, that this talisman is indeed the nameless yellow sign handed down from the accursed cult of Hastur, the primordial Carcosa, whereof the volume treats.
Wow, doesn't that sound mysterious and unnamed and weird, right? Wow.
So undescribable.
So undescribable.
Unspeakable.
I'm still not sure if this is a person, place, or thing. Is he an adjective?
He's an adverb.
An adverb, a person, place, or a thing?
Please don't assume it's pronouns.
Adjective, person, place, or thing.
Why am I thinking of like what's that old fucking show? With
Silver
the fucking
Deathmatch, Tool Time,
Chalk Zone.
Keep going. I like where this is going.
Wow,
Thornberry. This is the opposite way of where I wanted it to go, but I really do enjoy hearing all the old episodes.
Legend of the Hidden Temples.
Hey.
Ooh, that's Lovecraftian as fuck.
Absolutely. No, but it's like that show with the bill on the front steps. And
I'm only a bill.
I'm just a bill.
Yes.
Schoolhouse Rock.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
I wanted to say that, but then I kept thinking of fucking Jack Black's movie, School of Rock.
School of Rock. No, it's not that.
Anyways, getting back on the topic here.
And then Black Jack's movie, School of Cock.
Yeah, I've seen that porno for sure.
Yeah, that one's only streaming.
I have a
exclusively
after this. All right,
Jason, put your cock away. Anyways,
I'm in my own house. I can do what I want.
That's fair. I can't stop you, I guess. Okay, so that being said, now that I've read that amazing, undescribable quote, basically the supernatural horror in literature discussing the yellow sign and Chambers the yellow sign, the only mention of Hastur is we spoke of Hastur and of Casilda. So judging from these two quotes, which that latter quote was very short, and didn't bring a whole lot to the table.
7 words.
It is.
Yeah, it was just we spoke of Hastur and of Casilda.
And that's the thing; they don't mention him that often.
That's Lovecraft. That's just so you're gonna hear
Just subtle name
Azathoth's
drops.
name all over the fucking place. There are only like 3 stories that have anything to do with him.
And that's the thing with like a lot of the H.P. Lovecraft like mythos characters. Like you have these big giant stories, but the stories have like very little to do with these like big names that we know and love. And it's because they're so like they're like such a small part of the book, but they're like that part of the book that like hooks you.
Exactly.
The part that makes you afraid of
And
what's happening.
The one thing that Lovecraft has said time and time again is that he brings these names and beings into existence not to like give explanation about them, but to more give you like a focal point in where to put your dread.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you have a name to think about now.
Well,
You don't know
to
what it
me-
looks like. You don't know what it's going to do to you.
To me, it always seemed like that. Like the name comes up subtly enough to where it's like that like thing that's always kind of peering over your shoulder. And in essence, that you can. It's like out of reach.
Yep.
You know.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you've seen the newest rendition of Color Out of Space, that's like that. That picks up on what you are supposed to feel like when you are reading Lovecraft stories perfectly.
It does a great job of making you as the viewer feel
Helpless.
insane.
And stupid.
It brings
be
the
honest.
whole sanity. Like sanity is a huge part of this mythos, and like keeping that sanity and feeling like, like I don't even know how to describe it. It's undescribable.
Isn't it weird how you can't describe it?
Bum bum bum.
That's just fucking great. That's exactly what I needed to add on top of my fear of sea creatures was the looming sensation that they're always looking over my shoulder. So
Oh,
I really
There's
appreciate that.
constantly a great white shark right behind you. You
Hey.
just can't see him.
Great.
Hey Matt, have you listened to our disturbing sounds episode?
No, does it have throat noises?
Ooh.
Because I'm always.
I mean, it
throat
does have
noises.
some. All of our episodes have at least some throat noises because shots. But
It has deep sea noises.
it has. If you would like to find a noise to be terrified of, go ahead and listen to that because
Oh, yeah. I have listened to that actually.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I think I just blocked it out of my memory because I was like, nope, don't need that.
that makes sense because the bloop is terrifying.
Bloop.
bleep.
Where are we at?
I don't know. I was gonna do whale noises, but then I realized how late it was, and I don't want to piss anyone off. But the last thing, so basically, with these quotes that I just read, it's quite possible that H.P. Lovecraft not only recognized Hastur as one of the mythos gods, but even made him so, recalling what he read in Chambers' book. So Derleth once entered. Actually, this is what I was talking about earlier. When Derleth actually recommended to H.P. Lovecraft that the mythos be called the Hastur mythos, and then H.P. Lovecraft was like, "Nah, bro,
Cthulhu.
fuck you, bro." He said those exact words. That's a quote from H.P.
quote.
Lovecraft.
Nah, dog.
He said, "Nah, dog, fuck you, dog." That was exactly the words that he said. So
To quote Lovecraft, that's a no for me, dog.
Fucking hell.
I love that quote. It's my favorite quote from H.P. Lovecraft. But yeah, that is kind of H.P. Lovecraft's version of Hastur and how it became to be in what we love as the Cthulhu mythos.
I would say, listening, that his version isn't much different from the original because we still haven't established if it's a person, place, or thing,
Right.
really. So we
Oh,
I feel like we haven't gotten anywhere yet.
To be fair, after what Jason's about to go over, I have a couple things I want to talk about on what Hastur is in my mind, and we'll go from there.
So
but
it seems like right now, from the mythos, again, because we can't like solidify if it's a person, place, or thing, that Hastur is just this like,
An idea.
it's this like idea of just, I'm assuming, some sort of like horror.
So actually, I might be able
like
to put,
some sort of like looming horror. You don't know what it is, but you know it's bad. Kind of thing.
Here's how you should think of Hastur. Hastur is like the aftermath of a dream that you can't remember. Like you have a feeling that you kind of know that you've experienced this thing. However, you can never know for sure.
Hastur's like sleep paralysis.
Yes,
It's a thing that you see,
but can't do shit about.
but you don't know if it's real. And then when you wake up, you're still not sure if it's real. But you're pretty sure that the thing happened, but you almost know for sure that it didn't
That you
happen.
dreamt it. Like it was, yes.
That's the best way I could describe what Hastur does.
And he even behaves the same way. Like he slips in and out of reality. Like
Well, we say
walking the
he,
goddamn
but
store.
is it really a he?
It. Well,
It's an
no. We say he.
yeah.
It's
I
Lovecraft.
guess.
Well, let's see. Why,
Yeah,
why
that's
is
fair.
it-
No,
No,
it's
it's Lovecraft, so it's a he.
Well, no, I just mean like again, we don't know if it's a person, place, or thing.
Well, yes.
Correct. I was more
Fair.
alluding to the fact that Lovecraft's a sexist, racist piece of shit.
Yeah.
But we sure.
Yeah,
we all
Cover
agree on
him
that.
anyway.
Yep.
I feel like we just need to say at least once on these episodes that we recognize that.
As long as, you know.
We recognize that he
held very cynical views of Earth.
the public domain aspects are probably the better aspects.
Oh,
Yes.
100%. And as I will continually say, he is the product of his time, unfortunately. And that being said,
1898 was not a good time.
where can we find Hastur?
So this might sound very otherworldly, very, very esoteric. It almost sounds like we're talking about a religion that no one else might be involved in. Not true. You can actually find him all over pop culture, especially nowadays.
100%.
He's fucking everywhere, even if you recognize it or not. He'll appear outside the Cthulhu mythos constantly. I know. Okay, I forget the fucking name of the anime that basically gives every single Cthulhu mythos deity like a human persona. I cannot remember the name.
Jason,
of
I think that just might be tentacle porn, buddy.
Yeah.
You know, I do own 4 copies of The Fisherman's Wife, so that you could be right. So, he's both a god and a family in Marion Zimmer Bradley's Darkover series, which I'm not very familiar with at all.
I am also not familiar with that one.
Not even remotely. I'm assuming it's akin to the Twilight series, just by the name.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Cool. Honestly, he's in a fuckload of books. And there are people that have expounded on his nature, his origin, his personality. People have given him like a human persona at some point. He is in the Doctor Who mythos though. And that's one of my favorite crossovers.
I just want to say you skipped over Good Omens by Neil Gaiman, and I'm upset that you did that.
Yeah, I don't
And Terry
care
Pratchett.
about that.
Neil Gaiman is such a fucking phenomenal writer. We have to give him some credit.
Okay, give me one other work that he worked on.
Sandman.
Oh shit, yeah. So in
It's a
Good
good one,
Omens
too.
by Fuck, you're right.
James McAvoy's.
I'm
gonna be
so
in that.
bad at names. Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. Hastur is a Duke of Hell who becomes trapped in an answering machine, which honestly is offensive to Hastur, if we're being honest. He later escapes when a telemarketer phones and promptly devours the entire staff of the telemarketing office.
It's pretty quality.
Can you send me that? Because like I would.
I'll try and find that.
Okay.
Because they do a good job. They do something, and you'll just keep going. Keep going.
Just please. He's in Doctor Who. Not the show, unfortunately. I mean, you can definitely find him in the show if you look. There are definitely traces of him all over the place. But there's a novel, All Consuming Fire, and he equates Hastur with Fenric, which, if anybody knows who Fenric is, was Fenric the fucking giant wolf?
No, that's Fenrir.
Fenrir. That's who I'm thinking. That's the Nordic god devil thing.
Correct.
Who the fuck was
I'd have
Fenric
to
then?
look Fenric up exactly.
So nobody here knows who Fenric is?
I got you, bro. Shut your mouth. Fenric. Actually, can I get a rips off Fenric real quick?
Fenric.
There we go. Fenric TARDIS wiki. Here we go. Fenric. Also known as Hastur the Unspeakable, Abu Finran, the wolf, the hunger, immensely powerful sentient force that was at least as old as the universe itself, an intelligence of pure evil, later identified as the Great Old One.
Yeah, it's
So they knew what was up.
it's based on, from what you just said, I feel like Fenric and Fenrir are very closely related.
It definitely sounded like they were trying to go with that.
Right.
I haven't read this Doctor Who novel. I have watched all of Doctor Who, but I don't.
Same. I've not read the novel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It sounds like they're trying to go with the big old wolf Fenrir, but in yellow, I guess.
the British version.
You can also find Hastur in Stephen King. The Stephen King short story Grandma. Are you going to make me say this?
Please do.
Grandma.
All right, I'll fucking read it. The titular grandma
He said tit.
invokes Hastur to impregnate her when she is found to be incapable of having a child.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's not great. It can be made to sleep by being told to, you ready? Lie down in the name of Hastur. It's
This
kind
is
of like a...
this is literally Inuyasha. Sit, boy.
Oh, fuck. Holy shit.
Yeah, wow, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Right?
pretty much.
It just kind of clicked now, actually, but that's exactly what I was thinking of. Lie down in the name of Hastur. No, sit, boy.
You can find Hastur on Amazon Prime if you pay
Just
the
having
$99
a- just
a
as a
month.
subscription.
Yeah, he's got his own channel.
Not a sponsor.
No, it's a BBC adaptation of Good Omens and it features Hastur from the book.
And it features
Honestly,
David Tennant.
It's,
Martin
yeah,
Sheen.
that's
David Tennant from Doctor Who.
right, and that's the
Heyo.
crossover there. I feel like all of these little connections are purposeful. You know what I mean? Because if you look down these bullet points, like this one and this one and this one and this one, they all have like it's like a daisy chain.
I haven't been looking because I want to. You
Absorb.
every time you talk about the pop like culture reference, Jason keeps like pointing at me,
Okay.
and I'm like, I want to know if I get
Mike,
it or not. When he
Mike,
talks
this
about
one,
it.
this one is for you. This is absolutely for you. Are you ready?
Real quick,
Sure.
if you're gonna finish this one, tell us how. So as opposed to the comic, Good Omens, tell us how he shows up in the show, because I think it's hilarious.
Are you talking about this right here?
The very bottom
Yes.
sentence, yeah, right there.
So opposed to the comic, if you were to watch this show, you would see Hastur appear. I don't enjoy this, Doug.
I think it's hilarious.
Okay, he appears as a sentient blob of very strong coffee,
Phenomenal.
and based on what we've heard so far, that's
But
Insulting.
but he's made from what? Distilled Usenet
distilled
bitterness.
Usenet bitterness. And if anybody here remembers Usenet,
Yeah.
it's probably me.
I'm very curious if whoever worked on the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy had some part of the Good Omens show, because this sounds like that same type of British humor.
Well, it'd be Douglas Adams, but
He
I don't-
did.
Matt, do you have any info on this? Are these two related at all?
Well, no, I don't know.
Oh,
I
that
was
was
just saying.
anticlimactic.
Douglas Adams. I'm sorry. You set me up, and I just disappointed you.
No. Okay, here let's.
Well, no, I just mean like whoever was like in the writing room with not the books, but the movie.
The best thing about Hollywood
you know.
magic is I can go back and erase all of this, and I can replace this with a very confident and strong answer, if you'd like.
No.
well,
Okay.
to be fair, the next thing is
The next thing is Mike.
We keep the failures.
you.
Okay, Mike.
Is it Dragon Ball Z related? Is he? In
Yeah,
Dragon
it
Ball?
is Dragon Ball Z.
No.
Yeah, he is Goku. Hastur is Goku. You heard it here first, people.
Whoa.
Mike, I'm going to give your blue balls a release.
Okay.
In the universe of the SCP Foundation.
Oh,
Ooh.
we might cover him on Containment Corner.
Oh, we absolutely are.
I hope so.
So wait, who is? Wait! Don't tell me who he is. Is it a?
There's no number attached here. It's the actual name.
Is it?
I don't think you know the name.
Is it person, place, or thing?
That's a
Person.
That's a hard question because it's at least two of those things.
Is he the Scarlet King?
No, but as far as this
no.
goes,
Is
I would
he-
say this is a person.
Is he?
If I had to give it to help
It's a person that turns into a place, which doesn't help you at all.
Oh, hang on. No, hang on.
There's so many
is he the-
SCPs. I would.
Is he?
There's over 8,000.
Is he that celestial, like that star?
No.
That
Oh,
kid's
no,
That's a
he's-
good guess,
no,
actually.
he's the one right outside Jupiter?
Yeah.
No.
Is he?
That's a great guess, though,
It
because
is, yes.
Hastur is very strongly
Is
connected
he-
to the stars.
Is he?
Not Jupiter, though.
Not Jupiter. I feel like there's a joke somewhere. in there.
Well, we're not finding it. So,
the Hangman.
yes, actually, holy shit.
yeah, you got it.
I cannot believe you fucking just got that.
Well, there's
Yeah,
only like
he's-
3 like cosmic dudes in SCP that are important.
that's fair. But it's not the hanged man, it's the hanged king.
Oh shit! Yeah. Yeah, that was close.
Yeah, of Alagata, but that part is really, it doesn't matter. But yes, the hanged king, and he is
Okay, that makes sense
heavily
then.
based on Hastur and the King.
Because the Hang King, can't that like transport you to some mythic? Fuck, what's the Hang King's fucking?
You got it, bro.
The Hang King's mythos is like it's a stage play.
Yes.
This whole thing is based on a play.
Yes.
Yeah.
Called The King in Yellow.
Yeah. The Hang King is some stage play, and
It's-
whoever
yes.
whoever plays him,
Don't give too much away.
well, no, is it like something happens to the audience or the actors?
Something.
Everybody
The actors
who
aren't real.
watches the play,
Yeah,
their
yeah.
penises fall
Oh yeah,
off.
no. The actors are all the same thing. We'll go over it.
The Hang King is
I'm
fun.
so confused.
Yeah, that's SCP for you.
We're trying to hash out SCP.
Okay,
versus
well that makes more
Lovecraft.
sense then.
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
The last
Brings us back to our saying, you figure it the
you
fuck
fucking
out.
figure it out. Yeah. The one that the three of us might be most well versed in though is Fantasy Flight Games. Hey Mike, you remember playing Mansions of Madness with me?
that 1 or 2 times. Yeah,
Yeah, he's in that.
I figured.
He's in
Cthulhu.
literally. Fantasy Flight Games basically focuses on Lovecraft and the Cthulhu mythos, and basically just brings it to life. And you are going to find Hastur all over this.
You can find him in games like Arkham Horror or Eldritch Horror or
Mansions of Madness.
Are there any
Mansions of
more?
Madness.
Are there any more that you're trying to surprise me with, or is the SCP one the only good one?
Oh, that's as far as I know. That's the only SCP.
So I can read this with full.
Oh yeah.
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 So real quick to touch on the board game thing, and this is why I associate Hastur in my mind with how I do, is there's a Peter. Well, actually, no, that's not the correct person. So there's a game called Cthulhu Wars, and in Cthulhu Wars, basically you can be Hastur and a bunch of other people, but if you play as Hastur is actually its own outer god or old one or whatever you want to call it. And he actually comes with a secondary lesser god named the King in Yellow. So while you're playing as Hastur, you're actually controlling the King in Yellow while you play him. And that is like ingrained in my brain now,
Well, but
they are two separate beings, but there's one celestial god controlling one
And do you know who that is?
interplanar god.
Well, okay. The major theory around that. Do you know who that is?
I'm not sure
I
actually.
mean, honestly, it's pretty obvious.
Shrimply
Nyarlathotep?
No.
Oh, okay, I wasn't sure.
I mean, that's a good.
Azathoth.
That's a good. Yes.
Okay. That
Is
makes
it
more
sh-
sense
is it
now that I
Cher?
think about it.
No, the King in Yellow he's a product of Azathoth's dream, and yes, Cher is controlling both of those.
It is Cher. Cher
My
and
heart
Michael
will go
Jackson.
on.
I that's all I had. I just thought it was funny if it would be Cher and Michael Jackson.
But no,
this
like that
dynamic duo. But
the fact that inside Azathoth's dream, Hastur is controlling the King in Yellow is very ironic to me because he's not. And one of the things you're going to find out about Hastur is that he, much like Nyarlathotep, he's like one of the black sheeps of the outer gods of the Cthulhu mythos. Like, he doesn't follow orders well. He kind of goes by his own wills and desires, which change fucking minute to minute. He's very, very, very haphazard.
I'm actually really curious to where he was at some of these like giant wars that happened. Like, what was Hastur doing?
I have a fucking fan fiction for you. Yeah, it's all about World War I and II.
Oh,
and it's so good. It's so good. I'll send it to you. It's fine. I don't know. Aside from pop culture aside, let's move on to something a bit older. I don't know, like the classical Greek gods, Roman gods.
Yeah, you should do that.
Yeah. So Hastur has kind of been
Passing the buck, Doug.
Hastur's kind of been equated to Saturn or Cronus, Greek, Roman alike.
Is that a disease?
Yes,
Okay.
very much so.
Cool. That's what I
And
thought.
I have come down with it hardcore.
Why Kronos?
Cronus.
Why Kronos?
Because those are the same names, but in Greek and Roman.
Well, wasn't Cronus the one that is like cursed to hold the earth on his shoulders?
No, that's Prometheus.
No, that's not Prometheus. He made fire.
Oh, you're right.
I'm
it
thinking
says-
of Atlas.
Yeah, you're thinking of Atlas.
I was thinking of
Sisyphus.
yeah.
Cronus is
That's
I was
the big-
literally thinking
big
of
boulder guy.
Cronus is
I'm done.
was it Zeus? Cronus
Just muting my mic.
Cronus is Zeus.
Cronus is
brother?
Zeus's father,
Zeus's father.
who's a Titan
That's
slash
it,
god.
Yeah, Zeus kills him.
I can only hold one set of gods
So
correctly. I can't.
Cronus was actually he was
and
sentenced.
Saturn ate his son. That's right. There's
yes,
a painting. Yes.
and Cronus was sentenced to what desert was it?
he was
Gobi.
Yes,
was-
the Gobi Desert.
He was sentenced to like. I swear to God, he had to like do. He had to like
he had
hold up.
he carried the
something.
labyrinth on his back.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had to like bear the weight of something. I don't remember
Yeah.
what.
It was the weight of the world deuce,
That's the one.
God damn it.
right?
And that's different from Kratos, who was the god of war character.
Well, Kratos is technically made up, but
He is, but he also
they do kind of do some accuracies to it because you do come across
the
Kronos
mythos
in that.
is pretty fucking accurate in those games.
Boy!
Boy,
Boy.
Interestingly, there was a Roman god of flocks called Pallas. Although not directly related to the word pallid, it's possible that it shares the same etymology from Pel, gray. Interestingly, Pallas was associated with the star Pelisium, and I'm not sure why this is in this outline.
you put it there.
You are correct. Oh, fuck, Pelisium. Hold on. I'm thinking through my
You were
Greek-
very excited about this, so I that's why
No,
I
no,
didn't
I'm-
put this in there originally
thinking
because
of
I
my-
did not understand.
Me neither.
my
And I'm
Greek
still
mythology
figuring it
courses. Okay, hold on. Give me a sec.
out. Okay.
The only things I remember are my Greek mythology professor saying silence means consent.
I took so
Which
many
is trouble.
ancient history classes in college.
Which
I
is
don't-
very troubling.
Yeah, you might want to alert the
I didn't
authorities
say that.
about
I don't
guy.
agree with it.
Man,
That's what I was
Bill
taught.
Cosby references. Just, we've gone so many places tonight, man.
No means yes, and silence is yes as well.
No means yes, and yes means anal.
Let's just
Yeah.
oh wow. let's just say that
Your fucking professor was fucked, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But he backed his statement up by saying, "I don't think that. That's what Zeus thought," which explains why
The
he had
goose
so
fucking
many children.
and him fucking a goose.
But he also he turned into a cow and ran somebody out to sea as a cow just to fuck them. Which
Yeah, Zeus was a
I have
bad guy.
questions about that.
how many gooses do you know?
Like personally,
Yeah, I just thought
Like on a first name
I thought I'd
basis?
just segue.
They meet on
us.
Thursday nights.
I have Marmalade, the depressed goose.
We did
What?
talk about Marmalade. The
Yeah,
goose.
it was a goose that me and Lori came up with a backstory with. where he's
oh
just some
yeah, that's right.
tattered,
Yeah.
fucking depressed goose that gives you bad advice and bad news all the time. Like, you know how a stork brings by a baby?
A baby.
He comes by and he's just like, oh, oh, it's like
the bad news goose.
Yeah, Marmalade's here. What's wrong? It's like, oh,
Marmalade, the bad news
and he's
goose.
like, oh my God, Timmy's stuck in a well, and he's like, oh, and he's like, oh my God, there's no ladder to get him out. And it's
He's
like,
got
we gotta
tuberculosis.
Go. Yeah, pretty much.
He's like Eeyore the goose.
Essentially, yeah. Yeah. He just any type of bad news, he's the one to deliver it to you instead of giving you the good news like a stork and a baby.
All right,
Jason,
Someone's
do
gotta
you have a good way out of this?
fuck, dude.
I got one. So it's
Cool.
Pelicium. It looks like, yeah. Pelicium. I prefer my version, Pelicium, which
No one else does, but
sounds
cool.
like
I don't see a single K in that
it
word.
sounds like Periculum, which is a Harry Potter spell that shoots red sparks out of your wand.
Where can people find us, Mike?
They can find us on the magical website that is linktree.com/deludipod. Patreon.com/deludipod. You can find us as Deludipod or Don't Look Under the Internet anywhere.
If I have to
I
say
don't.
that we just bird scooted the shit out of the end of an episode harder than we ever have before.
My brain.
It was
still
that.
catching up.
You know what?
That wasn't a bird scooter. That was just like a dump truck.
That was a dump truck.
Into the wall with.
It was a dump truck full of bird scooters that just ran over our point.
Exactly.
That's what happened.
If this doesn't prove how our show is,
We get drunk, we talk to people who like us,
again,
and that's about it.
this is the third episode of a 4-episode binger, so bear
Oh,
with
we
us.
got one more. Fucking hell.
Oh, we got this.
Anyway.
In the bag.
So I just want to say, hug your cat, kiss your dog in the mouth, open it up, get that tongue. That's all I got.
It's getting more and more vulgar every time.
Also, if you're a new
Matt is dying, and I am here for it.
Jason's gonna get like an uncensored, because I'm on push to talk, so he's gonna get like an uncensored version of me just like
Yeah, pretty much.
I cannot
Crying.
wait to hear that sound fucking recording.
Oh,
If
the
you're-
editing? Yeah.
also-
oh.
No, from him
Again.
that
Oh,
he
yeah.
recorded.
Oh,
again,
right. I'm getting another file from you. Fuck. I don't want to hear that shit.
again, we're on a 4-episode binger, so like if you're a new patron within the next week, sorry, you're not on this.
Yeah, get wrecked.
We got you next time. But we
Jason,
love all of you.
Don't give me your shot glass, bro.
Jason, what do you have to say to the people, the beautiful people?
Suck my dick.
Okay, Doug, what do you
Very, very elegant. I love it. I love where you're going with that. I would say the opposite. I would say
blow my dick?
blow your dick.
and I've learned that I should always be unsure of whether my dreams are real or not, and there's always a creepy sea creature looking over my shoulder.
Matt, I'm coming to
Truth.
shit in your tub.
Oh boy.
Mike is the creepy sea creature who's coming to shit in your tub.
Oh god, I feel like this is perfect fan art in the making. Just like
Holy shit,
like
somebody draws
a
this.
fan-
like a squid person, Mike, just like shitting in my tub.
I just picture the dad from Squidbillies with Mike's face.
Oh no.
Just shitting in tubs.
Oh god.
That's what I don't do. I don't go shit in tubs, you know what I
Oh
mean?
my god. My fucking face.
Well,
Get us out of here.
okay, bye.
Someone did you even plug us
I did plug
correctly?
us. I plugged us
yeah,
in.
we
Just got done
said
doing
one
Yes,
episode.
I plugged
or
us enough.
one-
They get what we're about. Diluty Podcast, you plug us. Bye.
Yeah, you figure it out.
End the episode. We're done.
Doug, turn this dump
episode?
truck around. Get us out of here.